What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. Wanted to make this quick video on essentially decluttering and simplifying our lives, cutting out the BS of the modern chaos that we all live in, especially in the US. Very fast paced, very chaotic, and essentially just get back to focusing on what really matters. And these are going to vary obviously from person to person a little bit, but most of everyone wants to have more time for themselves and their families, reduce their stress, and have a more intentional and value-based life, right? Kind of like the quote-unquote good old days, when things felt simpler, right? You can actually start to enact certain things to make that a reality. So first things first, declutter your physical space. So in America especially, we are kind of known for consumerism, buying more than what we need. Obviously, like certain things, clothing, cars, going over our limits, things like that. So decluttering your physical space is crucial, right? So you can start to get rid of old clothes that you haven't worn that are no longer valuable to you. Also cleaning your space. So if there's laundry to do, right, or there's just excess shit that's in your room or your house or your garage or even in your car, right, how are you expected to have a clean, clear mind and a vision when your physical environment is chaotic, hectic, and it just lacks, that cleanliness or whatever you want to call it that, we require to think clearly and just have a simple life, right? So the physical space is super important. A couple of things you can do actually is for every new thing that you do buy, let something else go. Right? One in, one out. Also, you can kind of purge and get rid of other things that don't even give you any value anymore. Like I was saying, old clothes that don't fit or that are just outdated or whatever, you can just kind of purge those out of your life and see the changes that'll actually make, right, moving forward. The digital space. So your phone, the emails, especially the social media feeds, be huge energy drains if you are not careful. A couple things you can do, cut out the digital noise, is clean up your emails, clean up your apps, unsubscribe from certain things that you don't need to be subscribed to, whether it's a ton of subscription-based things, right? I'm not just talking about like emails that are spam that hit you. One thing I've done a couple years ago was take off all social media notifications and only check them like maybe a couple times a day. Okay. Also, time limits on the phone is super huge. That they have, settings on your phone where you can go in and put a timer on certain apps that maybe you abuse. Instagram is the one for most. Could be Facebook, etc. And those give you limits to where you can start to, abide them. Now, you can override those limits. So if you create them, you have to respect them. Right? If you created them, respect them at the end of the day, because that'll help you move forward in this. The phone is a tool. It's very, very powerful, right? It can do basically anything. It's a camera, it's a computer, it's a flashlight, but don't let it run your life. Just let it be a tool for you. And 3, this goes along with the last one, prioritize what actually matters to you. So I'm assuming for most everyone, it's actually not spending 6 hours a day on Instagram. That would be crazy. Right? So most folks, it's going to be, your time, relationship with loved ones and your friends, and your actual goals, if you have them. If you don't have goals, obviously start to create some of those so you have something to go forward to. But when you are intentional about where you spend your energy, your time, and essentially your life, everything starts to get a whole lot simpler, because the value in your overall values, you'll realize that you don't have as many as you thought, but that's kind of beautiful because you can really focus on the few that you do have. One could be family, one could be career, etc., maybe a passion project or something like that. And then you start to narrow it down and you can dedicate more time, and you don't have those excuses of, I don't have 20 minutes a day to learn a new language. You have 20 minutes. You just would lie to yourself and say that you don't, because it's, sucked up by 2, 3, 4 hours of Instagram a day, which you can cut out, right? So have I would recommend like 3 top tasks or things that you want to do each day, and you do not budge on those at all. So one could be meditation, right? Deep breathing, obviously your work and getting those goals done. And then the third one could be family time or something like exercise, right? Like I said, it's going to be a little bit different contingent upon who you're talking to, but most of all of it is going to be relatively the same. Create rules and boundaries around the tech related things. So you can have no phone at meals, right? Especially if you got a family and you got little ones looking up to you and you want them to start to have good habits as they grow up. Finances, you can automate your bills, actually create a budget as well. So you automate your payments. If you got a mortgage, that can be automated. You don't have to think about that, right? Credit card bills, if you have those, you can automate those as well. And all of these technological tools can be used for your advantage again, but a lot of the times we use them for our detriment and we get sucked into them. So you can automate your investments, right? Every single week. Actually create a budget too. Like most people don't actually create a budget. So cutting out unused or unneeded subscriptions, any other expenses that aren't even, valid to you in your current life, you can cut those out too. Actually start to either create or, extend your meaningful relationships in your life. All the money in the world isn't going to actually make you fulfilled. So my personal suggestion, quality over quantity as far as a friend group. Over time, this kind of naturally happens because people go their own way, which is totally cool. But if you focus on a few deep, meaningful relationships rather than trying to go on Facebook or Instagram, trying to stay and follow and be in touch with everyone that you ever used to know, is going to be a mental drain on you, right? There's no denying that. Also, because we live in the digital age, prioritizing face-to-face interactions, right? Actually going on trips with folks that you value, that's going to be super meaningful moving forward, especially as tech advances year after year, right? Face-to-face will never completely be replaced. Last but not least, mindfulness practices. If you're doing meditation, exercise is a huge one, right? I'll always preach that. Or just simply spending some time outside, getting some sun, right? I think we honestly undervalue that because most people work indoors under, blue light and stuff like that. We don't get nearly enough sun and fresh air, outdoor time. Just a quick take on simplifying and decluttering our lives. It's not about stripping everything away, right? It's only about keeping what actually matters in your life and letting go of all the other shit. So if you like this, right, comment on something that you might implement, right, or change or let go or even add that maybe you have left or made an excuse to leave. Other than that, subscribe, like, and we'll see you on the next one.